And rescue operation is ongoing in South Sea, Nairobi, as emergency teams continue efforts to locate one person believed to be trapped beneath the rubble. This follows the collapse of a 16-story building on Friday. One body has already been retrieved and rescue teams are still combing through the debris as we speak. Our reporter Herman Kamariki is at the scene. We now join him live for the latest update. Herman, this is a very sad situation we have there in South Sea. Of course, we've seen efforts there trying to retrieve one of the persons believed to be trapped in the rubble. But could you just bring us up to speed, Herman, with what is happening currently at the scene?
Thank you so much, Leah Ngari. I'm getting you live from Wahome Avenue in South Sea here in Nairobi. And of course, just to bring you to speed of what has happened at this location here, if my cameraman can show you exactly what is happening. Of course, my cameraman is Cosmos. He can show you that there are bulldozers here trying to comb through the debris to find a body that is, or rather someone who's believed to be buried in the debris here in South Sea. And of course, yesterday there was some success where one body was retrieved and taken to Nairobi City Mortuary. Just to also let you know is that there has been a discussion about how fast this exercise should be taken. And so far, earlier, the Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome said the government will ensure that anyone who failed to follow laid down procedures will be held accountable. And of course, just before we got there, just to let you know of the happenings that took place here, it was on Friday at around 4:05 a.m. when this building, a 16-story building, collapsed. And according to preliminary investigation, or rather information that we have gotten, the building was supposed to go up to 12 floors. That's according to the CS of Lands, Alice Wahome. But unfortunately, or through other plans, the building went to 16 floors. And that is what brought the building down. Of course, we are here waiting to see if the one person who is believed to be trapped in the rubble, or rather in this debris here, will be rescued by the multi-agency team. That includes the Red Cross, there's the National Youth Service, there's the military around here, there's officers from the Nairobi County, and leaders have called for a speedy to speed the recovery process to make sure that whoever is trapped, or rather believed to be trapped in this debris, is rescued. Of course, according to information, we are told there are only 2 people who are trapped. That's according to information from the government, that only 2 were trapped, and these 2 were security guards who are guarding the building. And of course, the identity of the one person who was retrieved here yesterday has not been given to us. Back to you, Leah, if you have a question.
Well, definitely, we do have a question for you, Herman. You've mentioned the Land CS talking about the events surrounding their particular incidents of the collapse of the building. We do know that there have been reports of the government saying that action will possibly be taken against anyone who is found responsible for the collapse and maybe perhaps structural issues. Herman, could you just bring us up to speed? Just tell us a little bit about what the CS said about this matter.
Thank you, Leah. It was exactly at around 1 p.m. when the CS was here at the scene, and she was very categorical, and she pointed out so many things that are raising eyebrows. One of the things she said is that they have information, the National Construction Authority approved this building to only 12 floors, and she says she doesn't have any information that this building was supposed to be extended to 16, and that actually puts the question, now where were the officers to find out that the building was being extended contrary to what it had been applied for? So that is one thing that is really surrounding people and raising eyebrows around here. Another thing, she said that this incident is going to be used as an example to all the rogue developers, as she called it, and said all of those people who have been involved in this, or those ones who slept at the work while this was happening, then they will take responsibility. She also pointed out that they are going to take up they are going to take people to court and also deregister some. But just before we move that layer, please allow me to just we listen into what the CS told the media at around 1 p.m. today.
Then the office of the NCA, the office of the physical planner, director of physical planner in the country, national director of physical planning, is supposed to be updated. So far, I do not have records of the extra. So the next question is, what will you do if a contractor or a developer is not complying? Of course, he should be prosecuted. And the penalties, we do not have very good penalty punishment regulations, and we are in the process of amending. In fact, my draft for amendment of the NCA Act is ready, so that supporting it with the new building code, we will be in a better place to work on this log, on the log contractors, log developers. Indeed, you know, the regulations, the code largely talks about contractors, engineers, developers escape under the guise of they have given to professionals. But you see, a developer can come here and change course and avoid professionals. So we are amending the law so that the developers can squarely be within the act, and we regulate them the same way we are regulating contractors. We will deregister contractors. I will deregister if I'm told that the contractor was the problem. I will deregister the contractor. I will suspend the license of the architect if I find through the report that he went 3 other floors or 1 extra floor without approval by NCA. I'm going to deregister them.
Now that is the land CS Alice Wahome, who's been talking about deregister and actually take action against rogue developers and rogue contractors. But the question remains, if the National Construction Authority has been given the mandate to make sure that Kenyans are safe with these people who are coming up with buildings, at what point did they realize that the building was headed to 16 when it was approved at 12? Because that's a question we asked, and she said that the technical team is going to do investigations to find out exactly what happened that brought this building down, and said it is sad, and she said that it is sad to lose this number of people, saying that there will be no any other case like this in Nairobi. This comes up in, even as we have been told, or rather as we can see, their high-rise building is coming up in South Sea at a higher speed. And now, right now, just let me update you. Right now, everything is at a stop because the officers are keenly combing through the debris to make sure that if there is any sign of a human being, or rather sign of life, they can take charge of that. Back to you, Leah, if we can continue the conversation.
Well, thank you so much, Hammond. Just one last question. I know you do mention that the rescue operation is still ongoing, and we spoke earlier, and you mentioned the fact that there's the person who is trying to be rescued, perhaps also being trapped on the 3rd floor. Have you been able to speak to some of the officials who are in charge of the rescue mission, perhaps finding out how far they've come to perhaps getting closer to the person and the location of the person?
I think, Claire, to be precise here, it's like the information towards the public has been streamlined, and it looks like they're trying to make sure that the conversation comes from one direction. And so not even the officers here can speak to you, even as you ask how far is it, is it going, they tell you no, there'll be an official communication later. Of course, we were waiting for the public service CS Geoffrey Kiringa-Ruku to be here today at 4 p.m. because he had promised that they'll be giving an update at 4 p.m. but he failed to do that. And of course, while we are waiting, we have been informed that where the bulldozers are, where the cameraman can show you, is a suspected area where the person, or rather the missing person, could be found. And we can keep waiting because we are also informed that it is almost closer to above 75 to 80% rescue mission is ongoing. And immediately after this person is retrieved, then they can go on with businesses here, now take people to court. So as we are here, we are waiting, we are camping here to make sure that our viewers can be informed about everything that happens at the scene. But so far, we are just waiting because the bulldozers now are on standby, probably to give time to the multi-agency team to comb the other debris keenly to make sure that everything goes on well. Thank you so much, Leah.
Oh, thank you so much, Herman Kameriki, for that update on what is happening. We were speaking there to Herman Kameriki, who is in South Sea along